got it right. It just took a second longer. Good morning. It is Thursday, October 23rd in the year 2025. And we don't normally do a Thursday morning caffeine, but the topic of gun control seemed to be about everything I read online this morning. And it led me to believe while they may have reasons for controlling who has a gun, the ultimate thing they are out to do is make sure no one has a gun. And if no one has a gun, then why should they continue carrying a gun and be protected by people who are carrying guns? Crazy. I understand that a bipolar person on a mood stabilizer could run into complications in getting a gun permit. Why? Because the belief is that you might miss your mood stabilizer and then you might go do bad things with your gun. Well, people get a gun permit every day and go and do bad things with their guns. And they don't miss their mood stabilizer, so why should they have a gun? Should you lose your gun for a period of time if you do something wrong with it? Yes. Should you be allowed to get your gun back? Yes. It shouldn't be a permanent thing one way or the other. When you have earned the right, then you get it back. Our founding fathers said you have a right to a gun. They understood it was to protect yourself and your family. And at different times in our 250 years, people have needed it to do that. So, that right should not be infringed upon, taken away, like I said, by people who carry guns and are surrounded by people who carry guns. And you shouldn't. No. And I just wanted to say that. I don't have a gun permit. I don't want to own a gun. I've always felt that there were other ways to accomplish the same thing, and that it just showed that maybe I was better trained than you or knew how to handle it better than you did, and I just didn't want it. Okay? Mainly because I never wanted to pull it out of its holster and kill somebody, even if it was justified. I'd be looking at the judge and go, I killed somebody. I understand it was justified, but you know what? I don't want to live in that world. Robin Brunson is watching. And as I said, this would be short this morning. I just wanted to speak on that. And my thoughts on the Schumer shutdown. It's been too long. My thoughts on the Schumer shutdown. Maybe we should get rid of Chuck Schumer. I read yesterday that Rand Paul, a fellow senator on the Republican side, is passing a impeachment of Senator Schumer around the Senate right now. I don't think he needs to be impeached. I just think he needs to retire and go away. I think he served too many years and may not be up to the job anymore of being Senate Minority Leader and or being a senator overall. We hear term limits every day. Well, their term limits seem to be 35, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And then they retire. Well, Chuck Schumer has proven it's too long. I think you have to watch the person and see how long it should be, and know that a person will know when it's time to retire. But the problem with that is then you end up with all these old folks in the House and or the Senate, and it was never meant to be your full-time career forever. It's not a life sentence. It was just a way of life. So, Chuck Schumer is messing us up. He closed the government over not being given $1.5 trillion of your money to do with as he wished. Whether or not it might be right for you or wrong for you, no. You don't attach $1.5 trillion in need to a clean continuing resolution to operate the government. I know everyone has heard he says, well, in the 13 times I was Senate Majority Leader, we negotiated on what we wanted and what they wanted, and we worked it out and we passed it. Well, no, it's still wrong. A clean continuing resolution allows the government to continue to operate. What you want to fight about, go into a room and fight about it until you figure it out. But you have to have the government operational. Too many people depend on paychecks. People within the government depend on paychecks, whether it's a non-essential service that will eventually be eliminated by President Trump and others, or it's an essential service that will continue. People need their paychecks. You need your paycheck. I watched a video yesterday. Bernie Sanders made a comment that we have younger people in the House and in the Senate that need their paycheck to support their families. Well, what about the younger people that work for the government that need their paycheck to provide for their families? And they're the people that sent you there to represent them. If they're not getting paid, you should not get paid. That's the simple thing. And I've said that all along. None of them, even Republicans, should be getting paid. The people that work for them within the House or the Senate, yeah, they deserve to get paid because they do the work. But you as the House rep or as the senator, no, you should not get paid until you guys figure it out, all of you. And, to listen to Hakeem say the House went away and they're not here, if we pass something, is stupid, totally stupid. The House did its job. They passed by majority vote a clean, continuing resolution. That's what they're supposed to do. It went to the Senate. They're supposed to do the same thing. And then once it got to President Trump's desk, he was going to sign it. And we would continue. And fighting about continuing is stupid. Why? Because he's, like I said, eliminating non-essential government programs, reallocating the money to essential programs that we need, making the government smaller. At some point in our lives, government became the ruler of us, not us creating government to help do certain specific things. We have so many government agencies, as I heard John Kennedy say yesterday, that we don't even know what they're all there for. And like Nancy Pelosi said, once we give them money, we just reallocate it, because if they're not using it, some other agency is going to use it or going to need it, because we can't take it back once we allocate it. Well, it's time to get rid of what we don't need and keep only what we need. And if you don't like the fact that Donald Trump is the president right now and he's doing that, I'm sorry. If you don't like the fact that presidents have been asking for the big, beautiful presidential ballroom for 150 years, and the only problem was They didn't want to fund it with taxpayer money. President Donald Trump figured out a way to build it without taxpayer money. $200 million of his money and other private investors. That's the way it's supposed to be. Okay? He's not supposed to use tax money. Other presidents have done things around the White House. They're not supposed to use tax money, and most of them didn't. And if it could be reused because another president came in and said, no, I want the basketball court made back into the tennis court that it used to be, we can do it. A permanent structure built within the White House becomes a permanent piece of property at the White House. So the big, beautiful presidential ballroom will be permanent. If a president were to decide that, no, they want that space and they want that space for a specific use, specific reason, they can go before Congress and they can ask for money to tear up the big, beautiful ballroom. But the odds are they probably won't get it. Why? Because, like I said, it's a permanent piece of construction for a specific purpose that I'm sure every future president will use, based on the fact that every former president wished they had it to use. So fighting about the fact that President Trump didn't go before Congress and ask for money is that, according to the rules which he followed, he doesn't have to. And he is following the rules. He is a world-class real estate developer and knows there are rules involved, and he follows those rules. So if you look at it and you look at it close, Mr. Schumer, you will see that he followed the rules. He went to the right agencies that he was supposed to. He explained what he wanted to do at the White House, and so far he's been given the green light. And if the red light has ever come up in the process, he's figured it out, and he's gotten them to give him a green light to proceed. I am sick and tired of hearing Chuck Schumer say, well, you didn't come and ask me for the money. Well, you know what, Charles? We didn't come and ask you for the money because you don't have a say. Because we're not using the people's money. Stop diverting us into other things and pass the goddamn clean resolution like you're supposed to, and go forward from there, or get the hell out of it and go enjoy the rest of your life. That's really what I had to say this morning. Anything else? I really can't think of. So, yeah, we might be back later. We might not be back later. Like I said, it's Thursday, and we don't normally plan a Boogie with the Bull broadcast. But, hey, grab your cup of coffee, take a swig, and go out and make it a great day. Do whatever you want. Hey, if it's your birthday today, happy birthday. And next time, let me know that it's your birthday, and I'll announce that it's your birthday. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to both of you, because it takes two of you to have an anniversary. Or maybe it's an anniversary of something you did yourself. Birthday, anniversary, let me know. I'm going to tell as many people as I can, because that's something that we all want to feel good about and enjoy watching you feel good about it too. If it is a sad anniversary or a sad birthday, let us know. We want to help you. No more of this, we're all out to get each other or look for a reason to get each other. Just go do what needs to be done and be happy that you have something to do. And if you don't have something to do and you're just sitting there, go find something. There's plenty of stuff. Be against something if that's what you feel you want to do. Be in favor of something if that's what you want to do. Yes, keep supporting all the legislation and legal action you can that forbids the government from going into grade schools and reaching your minor children and convincing them that they want to make changes to themselves because they don't even understand really the changes that are being thrown at them. Okay? This whole transgendering thing, as far as I'm concerned, comes down to a bunch of guys that couldn't make it as male athletes. And they were good athletes, so they became what they thought was a woman. And because they did that, they could play on women's teams and use women's bathrooms and women's locker rooms and all of that. There's something warped with that part of the equation, because every good male athlete could have gone to that team, worked with that team, and made them better. Whether they were males or whether they were females, it doesn't matter. They could have helped make that team better. You know, not teams of girls who have worked all of their lives on the team that they're on, being taken over by transgenders who think they're going to win it for them. That's not what they want. We have excellent athletes in this country on both sides, males and females. And why can't they work together? I bet there's even some sports that the women dominate that men might want to learn and be better. And I'm sure if you asked them, they would help you. But no, they don't want to take their clothes off and change into their uniform with you in their locker room. You don't belong in their locker room. You want to use a women's bathroom? Make sure there's no women in there. And put someone to stand there until you come out. You know, I give you the laugh that one time in my limo driving days, I pulled into a gas station and I really had to use the bathroom. And I waited about 30 minutes until I finally said to the cashier, I'm going to use the women's bathroom because someone is in the men's room and they've been in the men's room for 30 minutes and I just don't want to get involved in that. I want to go to the bathroom. When I came out, a couple of Waltham police officers were there and they said, you can't do that. And I said, well, I had to go to the bathroom. I had two options. One, use the women's restroom or use the floor. And I wasn't going to do that. And I did my business in the women's room and I knocked on the inside of the door and said, I'm coming out. I'm a male. If you don't like that, please move away. And then I opened the door and that's when I explained to the nice police officers in Massachusetts that I had to go to the bathroom, and that's what it's for, and I just needed to go. But yes, it is against the law in most places for a man to use a women's restroom because of activities that happen inside the women's restroom that should not happen, period. We have to get rid of all this stupid stuff that we spend time arguing with every day and get the things done that need to get done. Have the agencies in government that need to be there doing something. Get rid of all the ones that we don't. And never, I swear to God, never think you're going to give $1.5 trillion of your hard-earned taxes to a Democrat lunatic who's going to control that $1.5 trillion and be able to do what he wants to do. That's not how it works, period. Chuck Schumer needs to wake up. If he can't work with the other people who are in the Senate or the majority of the other people who are in the Senate, then he needs to get the hell out of there. Give up the seat. I'd rather vote for AOC if I was in New York and had the right to vote. Because you, Charles Schumer, will never be the king. You're one of the people that we hold no king's rallies in this country. You will never be the king over $1.5 trillion of our hard-earned tax money because you just can't use it properly. I'm tired of hearing subsidies are going to end on the Affordable Care Act. It was passed a long time ago that subsidies were going to end and when they were going to end. We had a right to have our elected representatives look into that and whether or not the subsidies should end and extend them if we want to. I agree. Every American citizen needs to pay the least amount of money they have to for their health care. Okay? That's just the way it should be. And the best way to do that is to step out of health care from the government. Just make sure it meets certain standards, but step out of it and let the companies fight out the price, because each company wants to be the lowest and they will bring it and work on it and be the lowest they can, and they will be the most successful. They've earned that right. Or they'll open stupid named companies that you don't realize it's a big insurance company. It's just whoever it is. Panda Bear is owned by a big major company, and you don't even time that it's the big major company. Okay? It's just a game, and these games need to stop. 23 minutes into 30 minutes on this Thursday Boogie with the Bull, October 23rd, 2025. And a reminder that we are normally on Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. Adjust yourself accordingly. And we are on selected Saturdays, and we are on at 10 a.m. We give you a little bit more time to sleep on Saturdays because we want a little bit more time to sleep on Saturdays. So we come in at 10 a.m. on the Saturdays that are selected, and certain selected Tuesdays and Thursdays only if we have a reason to come on and tell you something. We don't just come on for the sake of coming on. There's too many people on Facebook that do that, and on YouTube and or whatever. I only really want to be on if I think I have something to say, like I did today about gun control, like I did today about the Schumer shutdown. If you think there's something you need me to bring up on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast, or you want to be on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast to bring it up yourself, you are more than welcome. Okay? It's a new world. I don't talk over you. I might get mad or elevated with my voice responding to you, but the rule is everybody respects everybody. Everybody treats everybody the way they want to be treated. What you do before the broadcast or after the broadcast, I don't care about. That's between you and the people that you're doing it to. But grab your cup of coffee and get your day started. That's what I want to do. If you're like me and you're retired, there's a whole big, beautiful internet out there to go read everything. Everything. Look up everything. Look up the same thing at different places, because different places will tell you different about everything. But there's a whole big internet out there to go look at. I tell people, don't get lost on Facebook and treat it like the beginning and end of social media. Same thing with YouTube. Don't treat it like the beginning and the end of social media, because there's someplace else out there that does it. TikTok is out there. X is out there. MeWe is out there. There's just, I could sit here and tell you about so many different places. Go out and look at everyone, and then decide whether or not you want to be there. Just like you're on Facebook and you get invited to 8,000 groups a day, and you might join 1,000 of them, because those are the ones that you want to be in. Just, We gotta stop fighting with each other, like I said, about stupid things. Yesterday I didn't wear my glasses because I got my eye shot on Tuesday, and miraculously, at some point Wednesday, it felt like I didn't need to wear them. But I said, Donna, I will probably have to wear them today, and I'm wearing the magnifiers now, and I'll probably take them off as soon as we're done. But don't sweat the little stuff. That's the thing my father used to say. Don't sweat the little stuff. Deal with the big stuff and try to get it done in a way that is positive on everyone. I've said, why can't we break bread and just agree on everything we agree on and then list everything we don't agree on and start working on that? No more ceasefires where one side bombs the hello out of the other side, and then the other side has to bomb them back for it, and then go into the ceasefire. Go into a ceasefire the way it's supposed to be. Cease firing guns. Cease killing each other. Try to work it out. And in most cases, you can work it out. And if you don't think you can work it out, look at President Trump's examples. I don't know how long peace in the Middle East will last, because it only seems to last as long as they want it to last. But the Ukraine-Russia war has been going on for like 20 years. Stop! Just figure out a way to be coexisting with each other. You don't have to agree with everything they want. They don't have to agree with everything you want. But you can agree on you don't have to kill each other, and you don't have to destroy buildings that one side lives in. It'd be interesting to see what they do with Gaza, how they build it up again, who lives there. Maybe it did belong to Palestinians, and maybe it was Palestine in the Bible. Maybe that is what you read, but to the best of my knowledge, there was no Palestine mentioned in the Bible. The only place that I know got mentioned in there in the beginning was Israel, because that was God's gift, maybe, to the entire world. And who knows if the rest of the world wants it anymore. But I do know that the United States of America is back. And Chuck Schumer and the Schumer shutdown is not going to stop that. Things that we don't need will be eliminated, and things that we do need will continue. And when he comes back, I think he's going to find a completely different government. Smarter, leaner, and ready to rock and roll. And that's what we elected them to do. And the things that we didn't elect them to do will be gone. Okay? They all talk about special interest money that they get on top of their salaries. Well, that needs to be gone. Okay? Needs to be gone. You do the job because you want to do the job, and you live off the pay that they get. And you don't do it for 40 years. Maybe you only do it for 4 years. I don't know what the magic number is. But, you can't have 40 years in the House followed by 40 years in the Senate and then get over to the White House for 16 years. 8 years as vice president and 4 years as president. You can't have 500 years to serve. It just doesn't work that way. Do your job and go home. That's what the rules of the game were. I do understand that George Washington wanted wealthy landowners to be your Congress because he felt those people wouldn't be there as a requirement to live off of the stipend or whatever we gave them back then. Like Bernie Sanders said, the reason we're still getting paid is because the young ones who have families and need to support them, well, the young ones probably understood that the Schumer shutdown is ridiculous. Just give us 8 or 7, just give us 7 Democrat senators that raises us to 60 votes together to pass the clean continuing resolution that reopen the government and then do whatever the hell you want. Although this is going to happen again in November because that's when the next clean resolution comes up. Get rid of all of that. Start giving the government a fiscal year's worth of money to operate the government. Okay? So that year to year they are financed to operate the government. You got a program that you want in there, then hey, bring it before Congress, get it approved, and then go to the appropriations committees and get the money approved, and then open it and do something good for your fellow man, woman, and child. But don't just bring a shopping list of everything you want in there because, hey, a lot of it isn't needed and a lot of it is needed. Anyway, I've rambled enough. I've hit 33 minutes and it's Thursday. And like I said, I just wanted to get you thinking as you hang on Facebook and on YouTube. Pass this to places that you think it should be. If you're going to share it off of Facebook, then go to the YouTube channel, Boogie with the Bull, and take it from there and share it. Otherwise, if you want to share it on Facebook, grab it and pass it around. I would really appreciate if you do that. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a quick look and see. My phone wants to be difficult today. It's in a case that's broken, and you have to work with it to turn it on sometimes. This one, and this one, and that one. And we're live, and we can roll down to where we are live. And it says we got 15 views right now. We'd love to make it 16 views tomorrow, and then we'd love all 15 of you to share it to one place on Facebook. And if you want to, like I said, go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, subscribe. It's free. We don't charge you. We don't want your money. When I can't afford to operate this ministry anymore, then I will probably shut it down. God said to me a long time ago, don't worry about what you don't have, just use what you do have. And the funny story about the Dell laptop that we're using right now, I guess 4 years ago I put it in a box in Connecticut and shipped it to Florida, and I forgot about it. And the Chromebook that I have, my Chromebook 3, was just tired and couldn't do it anymore. And one night cleaning out a box, Donna said, "What is this?" And we turned it on, and it was mine. And I couldn't remember passwords and security questions, so I couldn't look and see what was on it. But I decided 8 gigabyte RAM, even Windows 10 Pro. I'm back in business. I do what I want to do on the internet where I can do it. So, hey, grab your cup of coffee one more time. To your best day you can have. Go off and do that. And that's all I have to say. Oh, 36 minutes. So we went 6 minutes over. We're getting closer to 30 minutes when I don't have people with me. And we usually an hour, sometimes longer, when there are people with me. And again, anybody is welcome to join me anytime you want to when there is a Boogie with the Bull. Me, will probably podcast this to a lot of places on Facebook because I didn't have the time to set everybody up with it or do a Xander Gibb memorial pre-rehearsal and name everywhere that it's going to be. But it will be wherever it can be on Facebook, either in my groups, our groups, or it will be in other groups that let me post it there. If we ever put it in a group and the group owner or the admins decide they don't want it there, please let me know and I won't put it there anymore. If you work and you can't be here at 8:30 Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, or 10 a.m. on selected Saturdays, or even 7 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday, if we do one of them, let me know and I will send it to you on Messenger if I can. Or I'll send it to you email if I have to do that. Whatever. We work with anybody who watches any way we can. We just, like I said, want to help you get your day started, drink some good coffee, and go. And the joke about coffee is that Maxwell House was going to rebrand as Maxwell Apartments because somebody there in their rebranding thought it was funny for a state of the economy right now. It is cheaper to rent an apartment than it is to own a house. But, rebranding is the whole thing that I think I talked about yesterday. So I don't really want to talk about it today. Go watch yesterday's Boogie with the Bull, and you'll see it there. They're only on Facebook. One last thing. They're only on Facebook for 30 days. They are not censoring me, because if they were censoring me, they would have taken it off earlier and or made changes to it earlier. At the end of 30 days, they delete it. Why? Because I need space to add another one, and they only give me so much space because it's free. They could go out and buy all the space, all the storage space they need for all of the podcasts and broadcasts and everything else that they get every day, but it's very expensive and it would most likely lead to storage fees. So, it makes sense. Get rid of the one 30 days ago and replace it with another one for 30 days. You can think whatever you want to think, but that's really why they do it. I don't like that they do it, but that's why they do it. I really wish that they would just leave them alone, and every time I do one, it would sit on my profile until I decide to take it off. But, we don't have that luxury because we don't have a controlling interest of Meta. And if we did, a lot of things around Meta would probably change. Hey, look for us on Instagram because we found someone who understands how it works, and we're going to try to make it work for us. We are a digital content creator, or whatever they call it over there. So look for us on Instagram coming soon. We will complete the process with someone who knows because they use it, and we'll be over there. And maybe one day you'll see us on X, you'll see us on Rumble, a lot of free places. I just have to get my act together and put it out in podcast form everywhere because I don't have the computer equipment to make it live everywhere. Anyway, it's 40 minutes, and that's 10 minutes too long. So go off there and make it a great day. Do what you need to do. You can come back and tell us what you did in the course of the day. Gas prices here in beautiful Florida were $2.59 at 8 BJ's this morning, so that's down. And hopefully they will continue working on hitting the $2 a gallon that President Trump is working on. You know, I don't think gas should be a political thing. I don't think food prices should be based on politics. It should be based on what people need and what people buy. On that note, I'm not going to keep coming up with more tangents because I think we've given you enough. You can always bring it up in the groups, or you can message me and tell me what it is. And if it is necessary, we'll just do an impromptu like we did today. Hey, go have a great day. Anyway, double V's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is coming to an end, and we will slide over to, I have to look. I don't see it on my screen. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. Okay. Now, double V's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. If you think of a place on Facebook that we should be on, let me know. And if you're over at YouTube, watching all the good stuff over there, go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. Subscribe for free. You'll know when we're on. You can watch it over there. And maybe even one day, I'm getting told by other people we should just go over there one day and do a show from there one day. And I don't know, maybe we will. We got a lot of interesting stuff planned. You're just going to have to watch and look for it. So double A's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is done. Thank you for coming.